Finding and creating compassionate discipline in yourself begins with deciding to love yourself. I think a lot of the time we don't make time for practice because we don't think we're worth the time it takes to put in for practice. So I think completely changing how you move into your practice will make it easier to find compassionate discipline. So step 1, choose to love yourself. Make that decision a priority. Step 2, show love to yourself through devotion to your practice. Remembering this is a really special time of self-growth and self-care. It's not just exercise, it's something bigger than that. It's special to me today, wherever I am today. Step 3, find what is most meaningful to you in this practice. Understanding that there are small shifts on a day-to-day basis, and this is completely normal. And if you remember last week's discussion of self-study, think of this is a time for me to learn about myself, to study myself and understand who I am, myself, capital S, rather than like material self, lowercase s. You can find who you are in practice so you can better apply who you are to other life situations. And step 4, create or keep space in your life for self-love so you always have space to grow. So I'll kind of briefly go over them in order again. Step 1, decide to love yourself. Step 2, show love to yourself through devotion to your practice. Step 3, find what is most meaningful for you and understand that that might change a little bit from day to day, but overall maybe stays the same. Or maybe not, maybe that completely changes too. And step 4, create or keep space in your life for this self-love so you can always have space to grow. I think a lot of us, I don't know anyone who has started a yoga practice for anything other than like health. Like, I'm going to be more physically healthy, I'm going to be more mentally healthy, I'm going to be more emotionally healthy. And not that health isn't super, super important. It's a huge part of practice. Otherwise, I wouldn't teach the way that I teach. I wouldn't be so concerned about you being safe in your practice. But I think we start by trying to be healthier, and then I think we continue because of the self-love. I think it starts out as like, oh, I'm going to take better care of myself. And then later on, we're like, oh, self-care is a part of loving myself, so I'm going to keep. I think that's a good one to remember. If your practice isn't coming from a place of self-love, then it isn't truly discipline.
It's torture.
It's torture. But for some reason, we're like, yeah, torture. The more it burns, the more I gain. So silly. I was one of those people. I still kind of am sometimes.
I used to watch the clock during yoga. I couldn't wait till it was over.
Yeah.
10 minutes left.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed about this series. I don't do that. Well,
Yeah.
a lot about classes, I do look at the clock. I'm bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good that the perspective shift has occurred. I think that's really important. And I think you're never going to have time or space or the desire to create a home practice if you're doing that in a practice with other people and a teacher's leading you. If you already can't wait to go, there's no way you're going to want to do that by yourself. You're like, are you kidding me? No way.
Right?
Yeah. No way I'm creating a self-practice. But I think if you can get to a point where it's not about the work, it's how you work. It's not about the exercise, it's about the care. It's not about the getting it over with. It's about invoking passion. If you can make all these little changes, you get to a point where you want to practice. You want to make space in your life and in your home to practice.